Hi, in this short video I want to talk about lust and specifically what it is. So in an earlier video I gave a definition of lust, but this time in this video I want to give a revised edition, or a revised version, of what lust is. Okay, first of all, lust is a psychological process which really is about setting up the conditions, the circumstances, the occasion whereby our sexual centre can function freely in a search for sensations, whereby it can acquire more sensation until it is in a state of spiralling out of control. And then eventually the sexual centre's capacity to receive sensation reaches its limit or its maximum capacity. So really, lust is a state of disconnection. It is a search for sensation without consultation to the whole. By that I mean that it's like our sexual centre acting by itself. It's like we're driven by our sexual centre without our sexual centre consulting our mind, our intellect and our emotion. For example, if you observe whenever you are driven by lust, you won't usually feel harmoniously united with it. Now, there will be some sort of a war, some sort of a battle, some sort of a division, some sort of conflict or contradiction inside yourself. And for example, you'll either, in your intellect, you'll feel that this is not quite right, I don't really need to do this, it's quite stressful, it's inconvenient, it's costly, it's not really worth it, what is it going to give me? You know from the past that this sort of thing, didn't turn out well, only produced a lot of inconvenience, suffering, pain, complications, difficulties, made life more difficult. And then emotionally you may not really feel like it. Too much effort, too much stress, too much extra thing I have to worry about, I have to do. You just may not feel like getting involved in more complication to your life, more difficulty, hearing about the other person's problems, difficulties, having fights with the other person and dealing with the other person, etc., etc. So, but then the sexual centre is driving, pushing for it, wanting its sensation. But really, what is wanting it is like a psychological mental process in our mind. Our mind is setting up, preparing our sexual centre to be driven that way. So lust is like a disconnection of our centres. Really, we have to function sexually in some way. But the best way to function sexually is when all the centres, all the parts of our system are united, are in harmony, are working harmoniously, are one, are a whole. But lust rather disconnects our sexual centre from reason, from intellect, from vision, from motivation, inspiration, love, etc. Lust is really like the propulsion system of a spaceship or of a space shuttle, as the leading part. We can imagine our system as a space shuttle, right? Saying that our sexual centre, making it to be just like the propulsion system, the fuel tank and the burners, and our intellect being like the astronauts, the pilots, the guidance system, the steering system of the space shuttle, and then our body being the body of the space shuttle. So it would be crazy, that the astronauts have to be in full control of that space shuttle, and that way it'll leave the atmosphere of the Earth and go to the space station there orbiting the Earth. But if we put the propulsion system in charge, it'll just fly past the space station, maybe crash into the moon or who knows what, just keep going until it runs out of fuel and then lost in space. So it's the same thing when we when our sexual centre is leading the situation or in charge, it lacks the correct vision, the guidance of the intellect. And so we end up colliding with something sooner or later. So the right use of sex is to use sex, but under the guidance of our intellect, with the positive emotion, and in a way that it benefits our whole system, is in harmony with our whole system. Like adultery, affairs, one-night flings, all of that sort of thing is the use of the sexual centre against us. Pornography, masturbation, all that sort of thing are things that go against us. They do not really unite us, do not unite all the parts of our system. But mind you, just want to say, well, some people are very united in that sort of thing. They may have all their mind or their emotion into their pornography or into their whatever funny thing that they're into. Well, those people are maybe, I don't want to say lost cases, but they really have it hard. They really need to repolarize their whole system. But usually, the normal cases, the person is quite divided, being driven by the sexual centre, but yet something in their intellect and something in their emotion doesn't want to be driven that way. Okay, so the last thing I want to say here is that the sexual centre always wins in us when we just focus on the pleasure. When we focus on the pleasure, that's when we give the sexual centre power and force, and it goes ahead and gets its pleasure or whatever it wants. And then the battle is lost. But if we focus on being whole, the reasons, making that sexual centre to work in harmony with the whole, to benefit ourselves, then the whole of us wins. So lust is the decision to make just the sexual centre to win. Pleasure devoid of consultation to the whole, to the benefit of the whole. So it's a bit of an absurd situation. Just imagine a space shuttle with a propulsion system in charge. They're absolutely absurd. NASA would never ever approve or build a vehicle that way. Even in our life, when we have our emotions or just one centre ruling the picture, the situation, we get a negative result always. Really, we have to have our three parts: mind, feeling, and action consulted and working in harmony and balance to get a good balanced result in life. Okay, so I hope this definition has been of some use to you, and it has offered you some insight and will help to maybe correct some things that you think or feel or determine are wrong in your life. Okay, so once again, stay tuned to other videos I will have posted on my channel. Thank you very much for your attention. See you later. Bye.